If you haven't already, in life you're absolutely going to experience a tremendous amount of pain. Pain is an inevitable component of the life that we live here. It's inescapable and something to be expected rather than surprised by. But suffering, however, is an optional component. Suffering is the resistance to the pain itself. It's when we decide that when we're going through something painful, a breakup, loss of a loved one, a business failure, a hard period of any kind, that it should be any other type of way. We are asserting that life is unfolding in a way unlike how it should be in some sort of other alternative version. But what if it's happening exactly as it's supposed to? In fact, it couldn't happen any other way. It literally could only ever be like this because it's how it's happening. It's this reframe away from resistance to the pain that allows us to be free from actual suffering. Again, not free from pain. The pain is inevitable. You break your arm, it's going to hurt. But suffering is completely optional. I've used this metaphor before, but it's the equivalent of going out into the ocean and trying to wrestle the wave and wishing it was some sort of other way. You are going to drown if you resist the wave coming at you. I was just literally 2 days ago surfing with a friend, and her leash to her surfboard got caught under the rocks, so she was kind of stuck and kept getting hit by the waves. Fortunately, the leash broke and she was able to get away, and I was able to bring the board over and get her out of the water. But she panicked. She was resisting what was going on, and as a consequence, nearly drowned. Now, this isn't about her specifically, but in that scenario, the leash is only attached to you by Velcro, meaning that you have the option to take it off. So first of all, you're in total control. And second of all, resisting the waves when they come and trying to fight and fight and fight and swim and swim and swim while the wave is hitting you and forcing you under is only going to tire you out and cause you to drown faster. This is exactly the same thing with life. When you're going through a season where it feels like everything is against you, you probably heard the phrase, when it rains, it pours. Life very much is like that. There are seasons. When it's good, and when it's bad, it can be pretty bad. But the suffering component is when you ruminate and you sit and you think it should be some sort of other way. Or why is this happening to me? Or why can't it be any different? You're extending the period of suffering and amplifying the suffering for yourself. A quote that comes to mind from the poet Rilke is, "Let everything happen to you, beauty and terror. Just keep going. No feeling is final." I love this because we know intuitively that we can't have light without dark, good without bad, beauty without the terror. But when the bad stuff comes along in our life, we have this tendency to expect it to be some sort of other way, or to expect all the blessings that we've had up until this point and will have after this point to come without the requisite shadow or negative or bad consequence. And the only time we ever suffer is when we resist either one. If you're resistant to the blessings, if you're resistant to the tribulations, that's when you suffer, because you want things as they are to be somehow different than they are currently. But it is in letting go, relinquishing perceived control, that life becomes this effortless downstream experience. Of course, like all great truth, it is found at the point of paradox and duality. So we are very much also creating our reality. We are in total control, and likewise in absolutely no control at all. You have to, as a free thinker and somebody finding this video and on this channel, you have to be able to use your intellect and balance both ideas. But I've found personally this idea of letting go, detaching, to be extremely transcendent, because I spent so much of my early life, and we spend so much of our time in modern, especially Western contexts, using our logical and rational mind, trying to be in the driver's seat, create plans, strategies, systems, routines, all of these things that are very logical, they're very controlling, they're very masculine, they're very pointed, and that's great. It's great for accomplishing things. But when you look at the macro, the scale of your life at large, can you look back and say that you really had it all under control? Or that it unfolded beautifully in a way that you never could have expected? It's likely the latter, if you have any semblance of humility at all. And I see no reason why not to extend that into your or my future as well and say, I have absolutely no idea and no control over where I'm going to be in 3, 5, 10 years from now. So I'm going to let go and relinquish control to, in my opinion, God, the universe, life, to take me where it's supposed to go. And in the micro, that's where I'm in control. I can control my actions right now. I can control exactly what I do today. But in the macro, I'm completely out of control. And when those seasons of heavy rain come and the terror arrives, don't resist it. Understand that the storm, whatever version of the storm was sent to you, it was sent to cleanse you, not to destroy you. It was sent to make you the person who is ready and capable of experiencing the blessings on the other side of it. It's extremely hard to know in the present, but you wouldn't trade it for the world on the back end. It's a crazy psychological phenomena. They've interviewed people, and even people who have survived unbelievable traumas in their life, whether it's physical abuse as a child, sexual abuse, unbelievably horrific acts. Some crazy high percentage of them, once interviewed years down the line, would not give up that horrible experience. They wouldn't go back and change it because of what it gave them and who it made them into becoming. It's crazy to hear something like that, especially when you're on the outside and haven't experienced something so unbelievably traumatic, but you know it for yourself, right? You may have experienced something really painful in childhood. Maybe it was a poor relationship with your family. Maybe you were bullied in middle school, whatever. But you wouldn't change that for the world because of all the things it taught you, who it made you to become. So just extend that consciousness, extend that context to the future of your life, and remind yourself when you're going through it to let whatever it is happen to you. Search for the wisdom, search for the lesson in the pain, and you will experience no suffering. You will alchemize the pain into lessons, into learning, into expansion, rather than suffering by resisting it. I hope this was helpful. I know whoever needs to hear this will have heard it. Know that if you're in a season of suffering right now or a season of pain, I just want you to know that I'm here for you. Keep going. No feeling is permanent. As Rilke said, you're going to be okay and you're going to make it. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.